Hey everyone, it's Dan. Welcome back to Ethos Investing and another episode of Market Motivation. Please remember that resilience is a matter of mind, body, spirit, and social well-being. In this episode, we will focus on how one can stay connected with others even in the most adverse circumstances. You are not unique in feeling alone and isolated, whether this pertains to your investment journey or just day-to-day life. The key is realizing that there are ways to stay connected even though you may be physically separated. It just takes some practice and stepping out of your comfort zone. Keep in mind that resilience is a reflection of practice. You can continuously get better and be more resilient over time. Your need and desire for connection is always present, and it changes from day to day. That is why it is imperative to check in with yourself. The million-dollar question is, how are you maintaining your professional and personal connections while isolated? Moving forward, we will take a deep dive and examine 6 items that impact one's ability to feel connected. These include connection predictive factors, social connection and the mind, the relationship between fight, flight, and freeze and tend to befriend, countering our stress response, successfully managing social distancing and isolation, and finally, maintaining connections and staying involved. The first item, connection predictive factors, help to determine how individuals feel connected. You are more likely to feel a connection when you have a social network, maintain weekly contact with friends and family, get a decent night's sleep each day, focus acutely on good health, and regularly participate in hobbies or clubs. The second item is the dynamic between social connection and the mind. Social connection is as important as food and shelter. As humans, we need social connection to keep our brain physically healthy. Prolonged isolation can lead to increased levels of stress hormones in the body, poor sleep, a compromised immune system, and cognitive decline. The increased stress can also lead to increased feelings of anxiety. This stress and isolation leads to the third item that we are going to examine: fight, flight, or freeze. Fight, flight, or freeze is an instinctual or physical response to stress. This primes you to either attack the stressor or run away from the perceived threat. Fight usually manifests itself through the following physical responses: crying, hands and fists, tightness in jaw, feeling anger, or nausea. The flight response is exhibited via restless legs, shallow breathing, fidgety behavior, and the need for activity. And finally, the freeze response is exemplified by feeling stuck, frozen, stiff, and also accompanied by an extremely increased or decreased heart rate. The tend to befriend response is one that motivates us to support one another through cooperation, closeness, and compassion. It is a physiological and behavioral stress regulatory system that's an alternative to the classic fight, flight, freeze response. It's also stronger in females. Tending involves nurturant activities designed to protect the self and offspring, to promote a sense of safety, and to reduce distress, while befriending is expressed in the creation and maintenance of social connections that aid in resiliency. There are numerous mechanisms that you can do to counter your body's physiological response to stress. These can include mechanisms to relax like deep abdominal breathing, focusing on a soothing word like calm or peace, and visualizing tranquil scenes. Another activity to counter your response to stress is to engage in meditation. Meditation is a practice where an individual uses a technique such as mindfulness or focusing the mind on a particular object, thought, or activity to train attention and awareness and achieve a mentally clear and an emotionally calm and stable state. This can either be guided or self-led. Lastly, another way to counter the body's response to stress is to prioritize daily tasks, optimizing your ability to manage time. This is often accomplished through the development of daily action plans and schedules. Currently, we are all trying to successfully manage social distancing requirements and the associated isolation caused by the global health crisis. Jason Rezaian, the Washington Post's former Tehran correspondent from 2012 to 2016, provided the following tips for dealing with isolation after spending 544 days in an Iranian prison. Mr. Rezaian emphasized the following items: minimizing time online, reading books, exercising, planning for the future, and of course, laughing. Natan Sharansky, who currently serves as the chairman of the Institute of the Study of Global Anti-Semitism and Policy, provided the following coping mechanisms regarding isolation after spending 9 years in various Soviet gulags during the late 1970s and early 1980s. Mr. Sharansky stressed the importance of remembering why you are in isolation, making plans that are in your control, finding the humor, engaging in hobbies, and feeling connections, and finally remembering that you are not alone. How does all this apply to you as you've been isolated in your home? Take a few minutes to think about that question. As we all know, maintaining social connections during the last few months has been important to our mental and physical health, as well as our overall resiliency. Some other things you can do to maintain your connections while you're at home include streaming an exercise class with a friend, joining a virtual book club, watching a live living room concert, reading a book to a child in your life via video connection, conducting a painting night, a game night, and calling others living alone. You should also think how you can get involved in helping others during these difficult times. Some ideas include grocery shopping for seniors or others who are not able-bodied, donating to a food bank, supporting small businesses and local restaurants, donating protective equipment to those in need, and donating to organizations serving healthcare professionals. With daily choices, you can increase your coping capabilities and decrease that feeling of isolation. Just remember that your stress response is natural and you can manage it. We are all social creatures and connections make us feel better. We can do this and need to look out for each other. If you feel this content is going to help you on your investment journey, please hit the like button so I know you are following me. As always, lead the way, motivate others around you, remain physically and mentally resilient, foster a positive investing ethos, be pragmatic, and have fun achieving your goals. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time. Remember, I am not a financial advisor. The opinions expressed in this video are solely for educational and entertainment purposes only. Any stock purchase I show in videos should not be considered an investment recommendation. Investing involves risk, and you should do your own research. For investment advice, please seek the counsel of a financial advisor.